Hey YouTube. Okay, so I'm so sorry. I know I'm super late with this If Loving You Is Wrong review, but I had a hectic week. But I want to make sure that I get this video done before I upload the one for the new episode tonight. So, if Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 4, I believe, titled You're the Boss. So, not too much happened on this week's episode, but it was still a good episode. Okay, so let's just dig right in. So the episode starts off like at the climactic point where it left off, where Brad has Marcie in like a chokehold basically after she asked him, Brad, do you want to tell me what's going on? So then all of a sudden, she gets like a glass bottle, and cracks him over the head with it. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Brad is acting brand new, like, oh, Marcie, why would you do that? Like, you had her in a chokehold. That's why she did it. But whatever the case, then she says, get away from me. Get away from me. And he says, I'm bleeding. Yeah, that's the point. You just had me choked up. Like, this made me look at Brad so differently because it was like, dude, do you have multiple personalities or something? Because you are definitely like, you just tried to choke her up. In her mind, she's fighting for her life. In her mind, you could be a suspect in this whole crazy crime scene that has occurred, and now she's hit you over the head and you're asking her what's wrong with her. You were choking her. Okay, whatever. Now, some people seem to think that maybe it was like he was being playful with her, or kind of like that was supposed to be like a sexual choke. Like, no, bruh, let's not play like that because you're legit crazy. But whatever the case, then she's like, get away from me, get away from me. I will get you, get away from me. And so she's like holding out this glass bottle, threatening him while she's going to get her purse. I know that's right because I'm going to get out of the place, but if I have the opportunity to get my cash, then I'm gone. Okay, so she leaves out, and Brad is just really looking lost. I'm like, yeah, this dude must have like multiple personalities. Okay, anyway, so then all of a sudden we see Esperanza. Esperanza shows up to the hospital because she knows that Natalie's son was shot, so she's there to check on her. Lushen is there as well. Lushen tells Esperanza Natalie's over there. She's grieving. Yes. And she's grieving simply because she doesn't know where she went wrong. She felt like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to raise a man, but at the end of the day, I'm a woman and I can't do that. I can't raise this man by myself. He's still a child, but he is a man, and his father should be here. This all shouldn't be on me. This isn't even fair. Now, I don't remember if anything happened with his father. Maybe somebody can fill me in. But as far as I know, his father is just not around. I don't know if his father is alive or just a deadbeat. But whatever, just let me know that. Okay, so whatever the case, she is like crying, she's freaking out. Esperanza is like really like pissing me off to the highest level of festivity because she keeps saying, calm down, calm down, calm down. Like, girl, her son got shot. Like, she cannot calm down at this point. So maybe you just need to listen. Like, just be a listening ear. She is just simply venting. She's in the hospital. I know she's a little hysterical, but they expect these things in a hospital. So I would say that Natalie, this was the episode where you've gotten the most out of her when it comes to her acting. Like, she was really like channeled her inner emotions and was like shaking and breaking down to the point where she all these things were going through her head because she's like, that dang Quan. And then Esperanza is like, what's going on with Quan? She said, Joey shot him, or he got shot, he's dead. And then they said, then Esperanza's like, wait, like, put the pieces of the puzzle together for me. She said, Joey had a gun. Fawn gave Joey the gun. Oh gosh, Fawn's in the hospital too. Then she's gonna lose her job because they're still connected to one another. And Joey is on probation, as we all know, and having a gun violates his probation. So the fact that he's killed somebody, although it was self-defense, they're not going to believe that because he already has a record, and this is just going to be all bad for him if he pulls through. So she's saying if, Esperanza's trying to be a great friend. She's like, no, when he pulls through, when he pulls through. Okay, when he pulls through, I guess he's going back to jail, huh? Okay, so whatever the case, you feel really sorry for Natalie at this point because she is like shaking, breaking down, crying. Then Lushen comes up. He's such a good guy. Lushen says, here, Natalie, you're going to have to calm down. Just take this. She says, what is this? I got it from the nurse. Just take this. So, of course, it's some type of like sedative or something that's going to like calm her nerves. She's like, I don't want to take that. I don't want to calm down. I want to feel this. Like, I need to feel this. And I totally agree. Sometimes I think that the best form of therapy is like releasing those tears rather than holding it in and bottling it up inside. Like, you just got to let it go, let it be free. And if the hospital is the place to be, then so be it, okay? Because as far as she knows, her son could be dying in the other room. And she's done everything she can at this point to raise him up to be an upstanding man. And she tells him, pull your pants up, walk like you got some sense, talk like you got some sense. When the police come at you, just stand there, look them in their eye, don't turn your back and run away. That makes you look suspicious. And she's worried about the cops out on the street in their bad neighborhood when she should have been worried about their neighborhood. People like Juan, but those are the types of things she can't teach everything. She's a mother. He needed his father in his life. So she's just really feeling that pain and releasing all of those emotions. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought Lushen was great because she's like, Lushen, promise me he's going to pull through. Well, of course, Lushen, he's not God and he's not the doctor. So he doesn't want to make her a false promise. But he does promise her that he loves her son and that he will be there for her no matter what. And that they are going to pray for him to get through this. And that he is going to be by her every step of the way. And I said, gonna marry him because he is everything. Okay, so next thing you know, he convinces her to take the medicine. She does. She's calm. Esperanza is like, Lushen, thank you for being the man that you are. Like, my friend needs this now. If you got some cousins or some brothers or something, like, we're all like pretty much single around in these streets. So if you could hook us up with somebody like you, because Eddie is not the business. Anyway, so then she says, Lushen, by the way, I'm going to call you later or you call me later. There's some other things going on and I have to inform you. He says, what? I'm like, Lushen, bro, you're doing good. This is not about whatever's going on with Esperanza right now, okay? It is about Natalie. So Esperanza, she's normally stupid, but this time she's right. She says, no, I'll call you later and let you know. Okay, great. So then all of a sudden, speaking of Eddie, it goes back to the police station. Eddie goes up to Ben and he asks, okay, did you find any information on Claudia? I told you to search the captain's system. And Ben was like, no, I didn't find nothing. And he said, but Ben says it with an attitude. He's like, so Eddie's like, what you mean you didn't find nothing? Ben was like, I didn't find anything. He was like, well, maybe you didn't look hard enough. So Ben says, okay, well, maybe you should look for yourself because I'm getting tired of you, bruh. And I'm about to hook up with my little Colombian connection and you're about to be out of the game. So stop messing with me. Okay, I don't have time. So then Eddie is like, who you getting smart with? Show me your hand. Look at your hand. Like, and of course, like he's like missing like all his fingers except for like one. He was like, you see that one? I will break that one too. And I will do the same thing to the other hand. Don't forget who you're talking to. So Ben is like, okay. And then he said, so go in there and look. He said, I can't. Andrew's here. Andrew watches our every move. So then Eddie says, well, get rid of him. So then he says, you know what? I'll do it myself. Andrew, get over here. Andrew is like, what? He was like, get your punk behind over here. So, of course, Andrew gets punked all day long. It is so sad. Eddie says, Andrew, you got a call. He said, no, I don't. Yes, you do. You have a call at this lady's house, blah, 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 blah. Andrew said, I didn't get that call. Eddie said, yeah, because you don't know what you're doing. So how about you thank me instead? So Andrew's dumb self is like, thank you. Well, this is how you turn into his flunky, okay? So whatever the case, Andrew leaves out, and this gives Ben opportunity to go and search information on Claudia. Okay, so then all of a sudden we see Marcie. So Marcie, of course, she had ran out of her house and she went to the crime scene, back to her old house and Alex's house. And Kelly is outside. She runs up to Kelly. She's asking Kelly questions. She looks distraught. What is going on? What happened here? And then Kelly says, "Okay, so I told you about Randall's mom being hurt. Well, they said that she said that the guy next door went and did this. Brad did this." And Marcie said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Well, she said the guy next door. Brad is the only dude next door." And then she said, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." So then she says, "Why don't you talk to the police officer?" So the police officer is like asking her questions, and he's asking her about her whereabouts and was she at home by herself. So at this point, she's like flipping out, like, "Why are you questioning me? Like I did something, like I'm a suspect." And he's like, "Ma'am, I'm just asking you a question." And she's like, "But why? What is going on?" And then so Kelly says, "Look," she tells the officer, "Look, she answered your question. She was at home, okay? She doesn't have any more answers for you." And then he says, "Okay, so whatever, they're looking into it." Okay, so then Marcie and Kelly proceed to go into the house. Okay, so Eddie shows up to this crime scene as well. So when Eddie shows up, he is just rude and disrespectful because, like, as we know, he doesn't like Randall. He goes into the house. The house is a crime scene, and Eddie is touching everything. He's stepping in blood and everything. Eddie thinks he's invincible, and he can just do whatever. Like, he runs the police station. And, of course, his boss doesn't make it any better because he's like, "Dude, don't do that. Don't do this. Oh my gosh. Like, just get out of here." Eddie is like, "Who are you talking to?" And then the dude says, "Look, I'm your boss." Then Eddie says, "Yeah, but remember how you got that position." Something like you being on your knees or something. They're going back and forth, and his boss insinuates that Eddie plays for the other team. And Eddie is like, "What?" And I could have swore he was with like a tranny before last season, but I'm not sure. I think not in Alex, but in Esperanza's house. Whatever the case, that was irrelevant. They're just going back and forth, and they're just basically like their egos are getting the best of them. And so finally, he pushes Eddie out the house. Then all of a sudden, Esperanza walks up and was like, "Eddie, what are you doing here?" She just drives me crazy because she loves his attention. So, of course, they do their normal arguing back and forth. Okay, so then once we go inside of Alex's house, we see Marcie and Alex. Marcie is pissed off. She's throwing stuff around. Not Alex. Marcie and Kelly are inside of Alex's house. And Kelly is like, "Marcie, you're going to have to calm down. There's kids upstairs." She's like, "So what? I cannot stand her." And she's like, "Calm down. Her kids are up there." She said, "I don't care about her kids." She said, "Well, my kid is up there. And if you keep getting out of line, you're going to have to get out of here." She says, "Okay, okay, okay." And then she says, like, you can tell that Marcie is upset because she's like, all of this happened. She had everything. Like, she had the kids, the husband, everything. And why did she have to hook up with my husband? And I just don't understand it. And then, of course, Kelly is a real friend because she's like, "Well, you know what? Let me be honest with you. It takes two." So, and then Marcie says, "Well, it actually takes four." Like, I guess insinuating that, yeah, well, whatever, because me and Brad slept with each other too to get back at them. But, Kelly is like, "Look, that's beyond the point. It takes two." And the real question here is, you make it seem like she cares about Randall so much, but it seems like you care a little bit more than what you're leading on. And then so Marcie's like, "I just can't help it that I still love him. I feel so stupid, blah, 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 blah." This whole time that they're still talking, Travis is blowing up Kelly's phone and she's not answering. She's just ignoring it. Meanwhile, Travis is sitting outside of the house and he's watching the police and everything. He keeps calling Kelly. "Kelly, you better pick up the phone. Don't put me in this position. You're making me jealous. I'm going to have to snap. You didn't put me in a lot of positions, but I don't like this one." And then, like, next thing you know, 30 seconds later, he calls back and he's like, "Kelly, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I just love you and you just got me going crazy. And okay, just call me back, Kelly." 30 seconds later, "Kelly, you better pick up this phone. You playing games with me." Like, everything was like, his mind was all over the place. Like, what did she do to this man? Like, you would have thought that she got some type of spell on him. But as we know, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So he's just going nuts outside of this house. Okay, so then back into Alex's house, we see that Kelly and Marcie are still talking, and they basically come to the point where it's like, okay, is Brad a suspect? Do you think, this is Kelly asking Marcie, do you think Brad is capable of doing something like this? Marcie's honest answer is, look, I don't know. He did come to the house. He had red mud on his shoes. Whatever mountain he said he was at, they don't have red mud up there, okay? And so the closest thing with red mud is whatever place they name. So I don't know, okay? He was doing something suspicious, but I don't want to go out on a limb and say, yes, Brad did this, because this is such a major situation. I wouldn't want to be wrong. Okay, so then Kelly proceeds to go outside and inform the police, because even if you're not sure, you have to give the police some type of insight as to what's going on. And then so, what's her name? Marcie says, well, look, the police are headed over there already. She said, look, there is a missing baby, okay? We're going to say something, okay? Now, next thing you know, we see Alex. Alex is in the car. She keeps trying to call Brad. He's not answering her, of course. Then finally he answered. He said, what? Is this about my kids? And then she says, no, no, no. I think I made a mistake. He's like, look, are my kids okay? Yeah, they're fine. But okay, well, as long as it's not about my kids, I don't care what you got going on. Click. And then she kept calling, and then he did not answer the phone. So she's all distraught, and tears are running down her face and everything. Looking at her phone, trying to like call somebody. Next thing you know, she doesn't realize. She looks up at the last minute, and there's a deer in the road. She veers a little bit, and then bam, right into the tree. I'm like, dang it, bad timing. Like, this is just a horrible night for her. Anywho, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.